you're being hot knife observed here.
Good hot knife.
We did good hot knife and bad hot knife. We've already done that.
This one's a good hot knife. It really is. It works quite well. One of the best I've ever actually used.
We've embarrassed ourselves trying to name it what the name is.
Oh, all right. Okay, this is Dad's new invention, or new idea. It's prototype. You know it's a prototype because we're using random bucket instead of a pretty. No, we're not sponsored, and we have no affiliation. All right, so we're going to heat this up. We're just going to cut the bottom. I'm going to keep the lip on, just because I think it might be useful. But I'm going to cut everything else off. Dad didn't believe me.
Well, I wasn't. That wasn't a scoff cough. It was just a regular.
Scoff cough.
It wasn't a scoff cough. That was a regular cough.
Scoff cough.
You can tell the difference between scoff coughs and regular coughs. One requires a cough drop.
All right.
And that's real smoke, folks. So that's why we have the real fan behind us.
This is high density polyethylene. So, yeah, they don't recommend it to be breathed, but, you know.
Scuba divers should never take this down and breathe with it. Is that what you're saying?
I'd say it'll be a short dive. It is not by far the most dangerous plastic of all. It's actually one of the most friendly, but it's amazing. It's hard to believe, but, any smoke's not good to breathe.
I've never walked up to a counter and shook hands with plastic. I've just never been that friendly with them.
Really?
No, I don't know if it's just me or maybe other people feel that way too, but I've never tried to be friends with plastic. Some people, yes, but plastic.
I understand plastic better than I understand people.
I don't have the plastic talk to me either. They very rarely plastic.
It usually helps after you do a lot of cutting and your face is real close. You'll eventually get talking with them.
Oh, you will? Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it's healthy. No. It's good, I'm sure.
Are you saying breathe deeply? That bothers me.
Yeah, you could. Just suck all this out for me. I don't want to get any of it. This really is a good hot knife. It's going through it really easy. And I could probably use a, jigsaw.
It would make a lot more noise than people with headphones would appreciate us, probably.
I'm trying to think of all the ways you can do it. Because I'm sure not everybody that's watching us has one of them.
We don't know the name, folks.
I don't want
to. Manufacturer, we do like your product.
Your product's really good, but I do not want to butcher your name. So.
No animals were butchered while making this, folks. Just a name. And we weren't discriminatory. We use Home Depot buckets along with Harbor Freight.
We're open to sponsorship by you. We'll test all your new products. But I'm pretty sure, looking at how we do stuff, you probably wouldn't want us to test it.
Test it or destroy it.
Is there a difference?
There's a fine line there.
It's taking a bit. It might be faster with a jigsaw. But this is, has a little lip like
I haven't had anybody offer to give us test an in-ground pool and ship us.
I could test a new truck, all sorts of testing. I don't mind.
We're not proud.
But we do kind of go off script a little bit with some of the stuff we make. Like, it's not what it's intended to use for. Because honestly, I don't think any bucket company would be like, oh yeah, do this with it. But...
And don't kick the bucket while watching it. No, I knew that was coming. I had to say it, folks. It came out. And as we mentioned before, there have been joke survivors from this channel.
I've heard there's been some not survivors too.
Now, don't start rumors. Folks, if you've got something you'd like to have built, put it in the notes down below. Or if you want to do it, we do a lot of stuff on 3D printing too. So if you want to not do it on 3D printing but have us build it a different way, just make a note. We'll give it a try. We can destroy other objects besides 3D printers.
Again, we're not experts at 3D printing. I have a long way to go. But
I know the on and
in
off.
with us.
I know the on and off button quite
You know
well.
that? I kind of get it. I still don't get exactly if when I make a mistake, I don't always understand why it went bad, but I'm going over there. I'm learning stuff every
Well,
day.
a lot of my projects kind of look like spaghetti. I don't know why. And I really wasn't trying to make spaghetti. It just came out
It was
looking
supposed to be
like
a
spaghetti.
pump, and then it was just I made a mess. I'm good at that. I did put in mess, but it printed it anyway. All right. So now we have a holy bucket. We have ruined a bucket. We have taken a perfectly good bucket and ruined it. And if you want to ruin buckets, all right.
How to run a Home Depot bucket. We have a video on that.
All right. Now you see our handy dandy bug killer. You can look at our other videos when we made this. Again, we're still prototyping a lot of things. We're trying to find out the best way all this will work. And then once we have it done, you'll benefit from our knowledge. Or you get to laugh at us failing.
Is that called knowledge or mistake? I didn't know.
Is there a difference? Well,
Okay.
starts with a mis-
Okay. Now what we're going to do.
Now, if you
Yes.
set this flat down, it won't kill anything. Because we can't get it.
All right. So we said, why invent the wheel? Somebody already invented the wheel, so I wanted to make it kill flies.
These are
So those are online for about $2. And I said, I can't even buy the metal for $2. So what that is, it has a little cup that goes on it. And if you can get the little cup out, folks, we didn't mean to destroy the product. Okay, the
They
cup
have
comes off.
high ratings. People really swear by these.
And these are called ranch fly killers or ranch, ranch fly killer is. And that should, okay. And that goes in and that holds your stinky stuff.
And it comes in for $2 a piece. It comes with its own stinky stuff.
All right.
No need to invent.
The way it works is the flies come down in that tray at the bottom, and they even send along packages of stinky stuff that you can put in there. And it goes down on the bottom right here. Flies fly in there and go it, and we didn't know it, but flies climb upward. And inside that is a cone, and they fly up into the cone, and then they get caught in the outside of that trap.
And they're just trapped between the cone and the outside.
And it fills up with flies. Well, we thought that's great, but that won't feed my fish because I'd have to dump them each day. So what we were doing in the old video, if you watched it, we didn't have very good success with that. So this is a new version of the other invention. But we're going to steal the idea of the cone shape simply because it was $2. And what we're going to do is we're going to take and cut off the outside where it captures the flies on the outside of it, put the bucket underneath like before.
I will assemble the bucket
All right, we'll show you what this will look like.
for maximum visual appeal.
This holds your stinky bait, which they send, but I think most of it's made out of egg whites or eggs.
That'll figure out what it's made of.
I'll have my own version here pretty soon. Stinky stuff, I think I can
He
make.
sells that.
All right, now, that's what we did. We cut the outside of it off, and we just kept the cone. Well, what are we going to do for the outside, you say? Well, it's going to go inside this bucket, and the bucket right there is going to have, you'll see the weed whacker in there. Where the flies come out, instead of going into the other container, the weed whacker is going to kill the flies, and then the outside of the bucket is going to let them fall into the pond, and the fish will hold up signs saying, over here, over here.
So let's first take out the product we actually know works.
Okay, one other thing we want to do is I put in a blue light, and I'm going to put it down in the bucket, shining up onto the weed whacker. What we're trying to do there is to get the bugs to come in the bottom of the bucket up to the top where the lights and the weed whacker is, and we're going to put holes in the top for the bugs to come in, and they also will be able to come in through the bottom. So we're going for both fly killing and we're going for bug killing. All right. He has carefully marked on the prototype where to put the holes. This is going to both be above the weed whacker to let bugs in that way.
We are thinking about 3 even-sized holes, but I want to make sure there's plenty of strength where the it's held. So I'm going to kind of go off script and kind of only do 2. I'm just going to prototype it. If it's not right, that's okay. We'll learn something what doesn't work. I think I'm just going to do little slits. We still have a couple things we have to kind of figure out on this design. We have never put a light inside of the bucket. We've never tied a cone to the bucket. But we are pretty confident in our top design. Now, again, if you see anything that, blaring way wrong that you're like, man, why aren't they seeing that? Please leave a comment. Well, we like to learn. All right. Again, we're using our handy dandy hot knife. When we used jigsaw, we had a problem with a certain bucket. It was said it was made out of the same stuff, high density polyethylene, but it shattered. It cracked instead of cut. And maybe it was our blade. Maybe, to be honest, we don't want to be experts on jigsaws. We just want the hole there. So we decided to do this, and it's maybe slightly more time consuming, but you have a lot of control.
Does Home Depot recommend this method for making fly killers?
They've been silent on the matter, but
I bet they'd be surprised to know what their buckets are made into.
oh, I'm sure. Well, I don't know how many times I've gone to Home Depot and I said, "Well, this is what I'm doing." Like, yeah, we don't want to know anything more about what you're saying just for liability reasons.
Whenever they ask me to explain what I'm doing, they look confused when they leave.
They say things like, "Are you sure?" That's not what the product's designed for.
We've never had anybody use it for that. That's another thing that comes up. You're building a what?
Every now and then I get a why,
And that's it. It's dumb inventions you can make.
and we plug.
I plugged that, folks.
But I do like interaction. I do like you guys, tell us.
Somebody just tell us how bad we are. It's okay. Just put it in the comments.
We already kind
We're,
of
we're,
know.
we're very understanding. We've been told it a lot.
Over and over.
Actually, if somebody brags on us, it would kind of shock us and,
Well,
be something different. And yes, we can read. We're able to read barely, but occasionally we can make out the comments.
They got that talk to text thing. We'll get her done.
Smoke signals is how I learned.
Oh,
How do you change channels on a smoke signal? Is the only thing I've never figured out.
I was gonna do old jokes, but that'd just be mean. And they're not as funny as they weren't as funny as they were 20 years ago. I found out as you get older, 20 years ago is a different amount of time than other people's 20 years ago.
You know what kind of bush do you find a rabbit under when it rains? That's a 100-year-old joke.
Oh, I believe you.
A wet bush. See, you didn't know that. Now you do. You may have wished you didn't, but you now
Oh,
know.
get interaction now. They'll be hitting that dislike button.
Don't hit the dislike button over bad jokes, or we won't ever be able to make another
But say,
video.
if you don't like the bad jokes, well, that's all we got.
Does the material throw up a resistance sign and say, "Don't do that to me," or anything like that?
In its own way, kinda. It tells you like you see how I can move the blade. Well, other parts still hot because the plastic hadn't stolen the heat away. And I should know better. I should. All right. Now let's fit form and see if I'm anywhere near right. Our goal is to have the weed whacker underneath. our openings. And I think I have a weed whacker underneath the openings.
All
So I
right.
believe I achieved the goal. Now they're small slits, but if anybody's dealt with flies, they can get them through anything. So I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Okay, should we probably mount the light and then mount
All
the
right, so I'm going to flip this upside down to make sure the light will stay out of the way of
this is actually kills
the fly
flies
mutilator.
and kills bugs. So it's going to be a universal killer that you run 24 hours a day.
Flies,
And
mosquitoes,
my koi fish love bugs,
things.
and they hate expensive products that come in a large sack. They just told me they just can't stand me to go to the store and buy that.
But buy the pre-made
They'd
things.
rather have free bugs. So I'm sure they said that to me.
Think what?
If this would be better, this is a blue light too that it could be used. But
All right, audience. Does that have a mounting system to it?
that I don't know. It may be in there where it came in. He's saying that because it's lighter in weight, folks, and the other one we built was too heavy. So we're trying to make this one lighter.
We've had a problem with overdoing stuff. I know it sounds funny, but if you've seen any of our videos,
Well, the chest we built that an elephant could stand on, it probably was a little over.
man, it was a very pretty chest. We made it out of what 3/4 inch red oak, and it was pretty. It was a cute little curio. It wasn't like a giant 3 foot by 3 foot chest. It was probably about 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet, probably about 2 foot square, and it weighed every bit of 80 pounds. Every bit of 80 pounds, maybe more.
You mean most women wouldn't carry that around as shopping? Or
It'd be a neat little curio thing, but what would you put it on? It was industrial. It was a strong.
a teacher bought that from us, actually. And we said, why? You can't lift it. She said, that's exactly what I want. She got all the students' cell phones and put in it and locked them in it.
At the beginning of the day, she decided that would be a good way to do it. Well, she put a lock on that. You'd know if they got into it. Did you hear the camera?
But her husband couldn't carry it to the car. We had to help him.
Well, we had to get a car. Well, we didn't blame him because we had said when we got it, we used to have a little spot in that little flea market thing, and we said, we'll sell it here or we'll leave it here. Because after we loaded it into the truck about 5 times, it's like, I don't care if it sells. We're not moving it again. We only moved it one more time. I think if the lady would have known, she probably could have talked us down to free. But we
wouldn't go below free, folks. We'd never go below free.
we decided we were not moving that thing one more time.
And zip ties.
Zip ties are right.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Zip ties.
You know, that was quick. Like he didn't really walk outside and get those and come back.
Like we were saying off camera, I know we have zip ties probably right next to me.
Harbor
might sit in
Freight
the shop.
shouldn't have any left because I keep buying them every time I go in.
What's funny is probably somebody's watching, saying they're right behind him. They're right behind
They're
him.
on that shelf.
Oh,
Can't
it's
you
a
see it?
bit. He's doing a bit. No, I wish I was. He's doing a bit like you can't find him.
No, it was on. It wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, that's what it was.
A lot of the stuff is not that we do is not on purpose, actually.
Oh, that's a joke. You guys are in on it. Yeah. All right. Actually, honestly, that turned out better than it had any right to. That's one zip tie in. I'll zip tie it over here.
All right, is that thing going to pass when it turns? The what weed whacker?
Well, definitely could. I think it will. No, it won't. All right. But you know that lip I made sure I cut use the hot knife on and real slow?
You're going to make it lower down, I
I'm
see.
going to have to go over that lip just a touch.
How wide is a touch? Or what is the dimension?
Right there. See? Perfect.
Is that bigger than a smidgen?
Like Phil said, piece of cake.
How does
Pizza
they
cake.
make cake out of pizza? I've never
I always got
understood.
that off. I thought it was hilarious.
We're talking about his brother Phil. I don't think he came up with a joke. I think we put,
He's just how we got found out about it. Uh,
and you too can
Phil
build
would be
this at
here,
home.
but he had, what do you call it? Other commitments.
Other commitments. He
Yeah.
has a remote and an air conditioner button. What are you talking about?
Has like stuff to do.
I've noticed that his arrival depends on the temperature around the garage.
Maybe just proves out he's the smartest of us.
I didn't say he was dumb about it, you know. A lot
Oh,
of,
no, it was weird. When it was 107, he always had something else to do.
that's weird, you know. And a good excuse, it sounded like.
I mean, I bought it.
But how many times can a relative die anyway? I've never.
And what's weird about it is he's our brother. He's my brother, so I'd have the same relatives, wouldn't I? I mean, most of them.
Well, I'm not sure he figures that we're real bright on some stuff. There we go.
All right.
And Phil, if you're listening, we didn't say any of these things about you. Just because you wasn't here to defend yourself. We call that in law the Phil defense.
You know what? This is a great option. I'm not going to do anything with it now, but this I can make a little bit of hole. I can put it in and make it a lot smarter. I'm not going to worry about today. Again, prototype. But I didn't realize it had a bank and a charger like this, and I could have made it look a little fancier. But hey, that's why this is a prototype. You learn. Now I got to make.
Well, at least you didn't mess up the Home Depot sign, you know.
And that wasn't on purpose. I just
keep it
that's,
look
I
perfect.
wasn't paying any attention, and it turns out I'm sponsored by them. Again, not against the idea. All right, I need to probably hide that under this line.
This looks well planned.
Oh, then I'm deceiving you guys. That's like, hey, let's put a light in it. Okay, how are we gonna do that?
Yeah.
Now you know how we were gonna do that. You learned at the same time I did. Not everything's pre-planned. I know that's surprising by watching the video, but guess what? Some stuff
We're
is
meticulous.
on the fly.
Yeah. On the fly.
Oh, I knew when I said it. I was like, actually, that was an accident. But if I would have thought of it, I'd like to say I wouldn't have said it. Then again, I don't want to lie to you guys.
In one episode, they made me make one that just killed Australian flies.
They come in from down under. Again, sorry.
Well, we had to buy them the plane ticket, the whole bit. It was, expensive.
Oh,
If you believe that, folks. Never
we have some.
We sold all the other swampland.
All right. Because this hangs out, I'm not real concerned about the light being open. I more don't want it to get hit by the weed whacker.
Okay.
So I'm going to lift that out. Now we need to put some kind of bar across so we can hang our stolen idea from. When we come up with an idea, we're going to maybe 3D print this, make it look prettier.
I think those holes will hurt down where I miscut it there.
Honestly, you know what we'll do, just to prove it out? We'll just put a little electrical tape on that.
Okay.
Duct tape fixes everything, but
I don't even think it needs that. It comes in the bottom. They're not going to
They
escape.
don't really go right there, but we're going to just put a little something there, just for fun and to know. Again, this is a prototype. We were going to make a 3D cone because we have that fun 3D printer and do it all really fancy. And Dad's like, yeah, but what if it doesn't work? And we spent, not really a whole lot of money, but it is probably 2 days to make one. So we already had these are $2. They come with the smell. They got the bucket. They have everything we want. So we'll just make it like that.
What he's going to do is we've taken one of these rings out of this, and he's totally destroyed it and made it into a wire. And he's going to put it on the inside there, and he's going to hook this portion right here so it holds it in there for the flies to be able to come out that little opening there. Are holes supposed to be oval like that?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's new.
I've never seen an oval bit.
That's a new
I've
function.
made an oval bit like that.
Oh, permanent basis is the smelly stuff we put in the end, and that honestly, it's pretty close to what I wanted. I'm a little surprised. I mean, no, I'll be honest, I'm a little surprised. So we're
All
gonna put
right,
this in there.
truthfulness snuck out again.
Every now and then, they'll accidentally be truthful. All right. Actually, I think it's going to be pretty good, and I can bend it to kind of sit where I want it to sit, which I just did. The weight of that should hold her down, and it won't fall back because of the weight.
It was, I told you he'd catch on.
No, that's not what you said at all.
Folks, I want you to know I told him it's in training insurance, but not to be a son. I've got him through potty training, everything else. He's fine on that part. Okay, now, that deal there holds the smelly stuff.
And it is, the cone ends about 3 inches from the weed whacker. So I think that's going to be pretty good. In fact, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to focus just on that. I'm going to take this off just for a sec so I can get to both hands. I think what I'm going to do just give it a little spot to hold. I don't think there'll be enough weight to bend it. I might be wrong, but if it does, I will straighten this, maybe use a piece of all thread, or right now I'm just using what we have. We're doing proof of concept, seeing what's going to work, what's not going to work. We don't know what we don't know. So I think what we need to do now is hang it in here somewhere and see if it all functions and doesn't have any problems.
Should we invite a fly in or anything?
I don't think they take invitations. I think they just do what they want. So I'm going to make a hanger.
Official hanger again, folks. May have a weight distribution thing, but we can fix that with a cord. Oh, Oklahoma. That is the official test stand.
Yes. Is an experiment. We're about to find out if it'll work. All right. Well, on the real hanger, we'll zip tie up, force we're straight, not let it do what it's doing now. But this is just our maiden voyage here. And I still can't let myself just do it.
Folks, you heard him. It's a female bug killer.
Oh,
It's a maiden voyage. No, bad joke.
all right.
So far, we've not had any electric. There we go. Well, we
All right,
got.
so when I tie up the deal,
Is it spinning?
she is spinning. We work. Light is not on. The blue light is not on.
It's got a switch.
I know. I was building. I was building for nothing. Still not on.
Maybe the switch doesn't have any control.
There we go. Plug was a little out. Let's go double light. There we go. That should be the brighter. There's the brighter. All right. So, and why do we use two different kinds of? Don't we have lights in the top, Dad?
Well, the blue light supposedly attracts mosquitoes, and you know I'm not real fond of them, so I thought I'd use the blue light and the. They say they're more attracted to blue light than they are anything else, even ultraviolet. So I don't know. We're just trying it.
Dad, why don't you take a couple steps back and look at the beauty? I mean, I don't think we have to change anything. I think it looks great. I mean, I think every person would be proud to have one of these in the home.
I don't think I want it in my kitchen.
I mean, and it just, okay, again, prototype, but I just didn't realize that.
How pretty it would be.
What's funny about it, Dad, is it will be. Right now, we're just doing it as sloppily as we could, but with a little pre-planning and a little bit more thinking, We can make it look pretty.
Was that a fly on a motorcycle that passed?
It was attracted to that blue light.
Ah, all right.
All right. We'll zip tie it like that. Again, prototype. We know it's ugly. But if you want to tell us it's ugly in the comments, please do.
How ugly is it?
Would it be ugly?
Is it uglier than, you know?
And go on. There. All right. Everything looks pretty level from me. Being a couple feet back, probably they're laughing at me for that statement. All right, going down.
Did you hear his knees crack? I heard his knees crack.
So I'm going to replace the fancy wing nuts with disgusting stuff. It looks pretty close to straight, and it should exit those flies right at the,
Folks, we only use organic egg products there for the flies. Actually, it's the last one, and it's been in their refrigerator for a while, so we're not
Thanks,
sure.
Dad. No, don't let it rot before after I touch it.
Well, I was going to serve it to you for breakfast. It was.
And I was like, you didn't offer it. Now you tell me it's rotten.
Yeah, shell and all, a whole bit. They might like calcium in their diet. You never know. He did it with blue water. Blue water. You're going to put that little packet to
We'll pack it in. Shall I add water?
For the $2, they also give you a packet.
Of smelly attractant.
By the way, folks, I don't sell them or have any connection with it, but it's called a ranch fly killer.
And the thing that blew my mind when Dad showed it to me, he showed it to me at work, because you know what you do. He said, "Look at this, Darren." And I was like, "But Dad, it won't work. There's no bottom. I mean, why they can just fly out? Why don't they just fly out?" But then they had the video of it. These things were full of flies. So maybe flies don't fly down. Hey, in the comments.
Maybe, I don't know if Oklahoma flies are smarter than California flies. Maybe that was it or something. You never know.
Okay, Dad, did you read? Are we supposed to add water to this?
I don't know.
I'm going to add water, maybe,
I would.
because it looks like just powder. And the blue water is just blue water, so I'm going to use the blue water. Yeah, it might hold water.
He's going to put blue water in it, folks, so you can see it. That's why we did that. It's not the reason we overdyed the pond, though.
Dad says you can drink this, but he's only told me on that. When the grandkids ask if you drink it, he goes, no. So, no, it's just food coloring.
That should be plenty.
And there we go. Now,
All we need,
double check.
here fly.
Double check and make sure.
Is it plugged in?
I'm gonna double check before I plug it in to make sure it doesn't. Everything's still gonna flow.
Folks, this may be where the sparks happen.
All right, my fly. See where it moved a touch. That's right under the center
Okay.
of the weed whacker or whatever trade name.
Fly whacker.
The death machine.
Death machine for all, even Australian flies.
Even though that's not straight, it shouldn't matter.